G'day, and welcome to another Melcat Gin Review. We're going across the ditch to Australia. Tonight we are reviewing Four Pillars Rare Dry Gin. Now, Four Pillars is quite well known on both sides of the Tasman now, I think. They've been around since 2013. Distillery started by three friends, and they are based in Healesville in the Yarra Valley outside Melbourne. They started out with a German copper still crafted by Carl, who have been making stills since 1869. The still is called Wilma, after the mother of their head distiller Cameron. And since then they've added four more stills called Jude, Eileen, Beth and Coral. What else? 2019 they were named the world's leading gin producer by the IWSC in London and won the same award again in 2020. So they've been around a while, they make a few different gins, and this is one we're definitely keen to try. Full disclosure, we were lucky enough to have a weekend in the Gold Coast just recently, and we tried a few different Australian gins. The ones we tried sort of gave us a bit of an indication that maybe Australia prefers more savoury gins, which was quite interesting. And of course using Australian botanicals, so I'm keen to give this one a go.
Yeah, so it's interesting you're saying keen to give it a go because, full disclosure,
we've tried it.
We have tried it.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact,
this is our second bottle of this one. Okay. Spoiler alert, it's good. Yeah.
Although, we'll take a step back, is that I can't always smell gins. But my smell has been coming back lately. Like sometimes when I can smell, I'll run around many bookshelves and smell all the new gins and try to retain my memory of what they smelled like. This one, we just poured it and I could smell it. It's a very strong smell.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's quite distinctive.
Yeah. So a bit about the botanicals. It's got whole oranges, cardamom, it's got cinnamon, star anise, and it has Tasmanian pepperberry leaf and lemon myrtle. I thought it would have eucalyptus in it.
Yeah.
But I think those other things that, like the pepperberry leaf, which will provide a lot of spice, adds it to it, and the lemon myrtle, which is different from a normal citrus. Oh, and it's 42% ABV.
Yeah. So they're quite proud about the fact that every one of their gins contains fresh citrus rather than dried citrus, and that may give away the fact that it's quite cloudy.
Yeah.
Which is quite often what we call, I think I've talked about it before, lushing, is the oils coming out of solution, and that's what you get from the citrus. Now, it was interesting just before opening the bottle in the kitchen, and I was several feet away from it, and I went, wow, I got this big hit of eucalyptus. So yeah, it's interesting. There's nothing that I look at in that botanical list that screams eucalyptus, but perhaps it's just that we're not familiar with the Australian botanicals.
Yeah, because they talk about having pungent orange zest, supported by florals and minty nuances.
Yeah,
and maybe it's the mint and the citrus coming together.
Yeah. And definitely citrus forward. Yeah, getting the hints of orange on the nose, and still getting that eucalyptus.
I think that'd be good with like a duck l'orange. Oh yeah, and you can see, it's got lovely legs around the glass.
Yeah.
You can smell the mint. Definitely smell mint.
Yeah.
But you're right. You think there's a eucalyptus in there, but
yeah,
maybe they're tricking us. Maybe they're not listing all the botanicals.
Definitely a fresh taste on the tongue, which could be the mint. It's quite smooth, although there's quite a
spicy.
spicy, peppery aftertaste.
Mm.
There's no strong alcohol burn from that. So you could sip it straight.
So these guys also have a gin lab in Sydney. We're going to Sydney in October.
So watch the space. We might have to do a video.
Malcat on tour again.
Malcat on tour. The citrus flavour came through. I was getting oranges there. It's quite a savoury taste.
Oh, you get gin cupcakes. You could put this in a cupcake.
Or a cheesecake.
Or cheesecake.
I've had a gin cheesecake. You could make a gin cake.
It's quite savoury and yet sweet. It's yummy.
Actually, I'm sure I've seen a recipe for a gin and tonic cake. I might have to dig it out and we can post that at some stage. Anyway, gin and tonic time. Cheers. That's lovely. Yeah, savoury notes, savoury, tangy, quite fresh. It's lovely.
I didn't want to like Four Pillars. I didn't.
Why not?
Because, it's a bit like that tall poppy thing. When everybody's going, oh, that's great, and that's, my favourite. Sometimes I feel like that's just people jumping on a bandwagon and the noise or something. But now I've tried it.
We've resisted trying it for quite a while, to be honest.
And I will say I have had that Shiraz one and that's delightful. But it's not strictly a gin because I believe it's lower in alcohol.
That's because of the infusion process after. So they've taken a gin and infused it with something else, as you can tell, because it's a beautiful dark red colour. So it's more, officially you would class it as a liqueur. But it is delicious.
Yes.
Yeah. You could make this your daily drinker.
It sounds like we drink gin every day.
No,
well, some people do. We're not judging.
But we were away with a group of friends, and this was definitely a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Available in duty free.
And when you're coming back into New Zealand, you can bring 3 litres of spirits into the country, and then you can bring your 6 bottles of wine on top of that. I think it might include that you could say 3 litres of spirits, and in amongst your 6 bottles of wine, you could bring some tawny port.
Oh, as an interesting side on duty free, I was pleased to see that they have done away with those foamy, plasticky sleeves that they put over the bottles and replaced them with some sort of woven material instead. So
I think it's just cardboard, like paper.
Well, probably is, but it's probably recycled and certainly far more sustainable than the old plastic ones. So
saving the planet one bottle at a time.
Absolutely. Yeah, anyway, definitely a good one. Highly recommend it. Get stuck in. Gin is winners.
It was a bit of messy chat, wasn't it?
It was. I think the beer on the way home helped.
Loose lips.